Yeah, man, like my brother sank over there. We're gonna learn to chill out and be Jamaican today, man. Alright, so it's the world's worst Jamaican accent, but so far we've had a hillbilly accent, Jamaican accent, and bass lessons. You try to do those at home, pal, so whatever. Alright, we put that Jamaican video up there for a purpose, because like we learned last time, with both of our hands, we've got to really relax. That's the whole key to being, play a bass, guitar, whatever instrument you want to be, you've got to relax. Last time we talked about our right hand technique and how we're supposed to be resting our arm on the bass, dragging our finger across the bass, but ultimately we needed to be relaxed. I want to give you one more tip on the right hand technique of why I use the term to drag it across the strings rather than pluck it. So if you look at my right hand, if I'm dragging it across the string, I'm naturally having my finger stop on the next string up. That's exactly what we want, is we want to be able to have this string vibrate, get the sound, and then have the next string down stopping us. When we're up here, when we're on the last string, you can either slap down onto the pick guard itself or just kind of float in the air. I prefer to go down because always I want to have that same technique of dragging across the string and having something to stop with. So on the last one, I might just go like that and have it rest on the pick guard. But that's the technique I showed you, dragging across the strings, so then the next string will naturally stop your fingers as you're moving on. But that's it. Nothing more in our right hand today. We're going to chop it off and we're going to focus on the other right hand, also known in some cultures as our left-handed. I am left-handed, so I actually have some advantages playing bass. I'm not the Paul McCartney and turn my bass this way because growing up there weren't too many left-handed basses and I certainly couldn't afford one, nor did I want one. So I learned how to play right-handed. Neither here nor there, but just kind of a miscellaneous factoid. Talking about our left hand, we have to chill, man. We have to be relaxed, man, because if we're not, if you've been playing and you play for about an hour and your forearm feels like it's super tense and your hand's about to fall off, we're going to call that a clue that you're probably not relaxed. So just like our right hand, how we kind of rested it here on the bass, and we have kind of a limp wrist and we're just nice and relaxed, we want the same thing on this hand. We're going to have our arm in a very natural position, and we're going to be nice and relaxed. We're not going to have a ton of pressure. We're not going to be gripping the bass like this. We're going to be nice and relaxed. That takes us to the first thing when talking about our left hand technique. I'm going to turn the bass over, and we're going to talk about our thumb. This little doodad, also known as thumb, is probably the most important aspect we're going to learn about with our left hand technique. If you get this wrong, it really doesn't matter if you get the rest right, it's still not going to work. We want to put our thumb so the pad of our thumb is resting calmly, quietly, and sedately against the back of the neck of the bass. This again being the neck of the bass. I want to just go ahead, place my thumb on there, and relax it. Once it's in place, let's turn that bass back over. Now if you notice my thumb didn't move. What I don't want you to do, and what you'll see some people do, is kind of putting their thumb over the top here. So they're grabbing that neck of that bass like, oh, I'm going to show this bass who's boss. That's not what we want to do. That's not part of our chill Sanka coffee Jamaican man. That's also just very poor technique and it will really limit you. So we're going to put our thumb, we're going to put it somewhere towards the middle. If it's a little bit towards the top, that's okay. As long as that thumb is flat against the back. Here's why it is like that. If you put your thumb, I'm going to rest my thumb right here on the 3rd fret, 1, 2, 3 frets, also happens to be the first dot. I can play down on the 1st fret with my 1st finger. Now I can stretch all the way up to the 7th fret with my thumb never moving. I don't have to move my thumb at all, and I can play a complete 12-bar blues pattern. And I'll skip a bunch to go up to the 5th of the note. But see, I could do an entire 12-bar blues in the key of C and put my thumb here and never have to move my thumb at all. That's going to be real key when you're trying to do these complex runs and do all sorts of craziness. And it's also, I'm not sure if you can hear that, it's going to eliminate a lot of that. If my thumb is up here and I have to move my whole hand when I move my fingers, it's going to make it really inaccurate and you're going to hear that sliding sound, and it's just not an attractive sound. It doesn't add to the value of the band unless you have some sort of crazy song that I'm not aware of. Anyway, so we're going to have our thumb nice and relaxed. Let's talk about our fingers. Again, we want to relax. One of the biggest problems with players is they push down too hard. You do have to push down moderately hard on a bass, much more so than on a guitar. That's why we are the firmly upper evolved of the species, because we are strong enough to be able to push down on the larger strings. You don't have to have the 21-inch guns, though, to play bass. Pretty much anybody can play bass. So what I want you to do, Pearl's laughing at me now, so it's very difficult to do the bass techniques when Pearl's get. Pearl, are you laughing at me?
Mm-mm.
All right. That's Pearl behind the camera, by the way. So she's camera shy, though, so she won't show herself. Anyway, because if you are Burl, wouldn't you be married to Pearl? I mean, come on. Only is the right thing to do. What you want to make sure you do, though, is like I said, about putting your thumb on back, first of all. Your thumb is resting very comfortably, very casually. Just having this little cup of coffee here, maybe a scone or two. Vegan, vegetarian scone. No, whatever. Okay, so once our thumb is relaxed, what I don't want you to do is push down too hard on the strings. So the way to learn this, the way to learn how hard do we have to push down, I want you to try an exercise. And the exercise, you can pick any one of these 4 fingers, doesn't matter, is we're going to take our finger now, and we're just gonna very softly rest it on the string. I don't know if you can hear, I'm plucking the string as I go along, and now I'm gonna slowly, look at right there, that's all the harder I had to press down. So I'm gonna very gently, again, my finger's just resting on the string now. Very, very slowly, gonna put a little bit more pressure, till I get a sound. That's gonna tell me how hard do I have to press down on the string to get a sound. I want you to work on that with all of your fingers. First finger, second finger, third finger, and fourth finger. To really figure out how much pressure do I need to exert in order to get a sound. The reason you want to do that, if you press too hard, not only is it gonna be bad technique, it's going to really slow you down. When you're trying to do these complex, crazy runs that a lot of people like to do, or the if you're pushing too hard, it's that extra millisecond to press that little bit harder and lift it up is going to prevent you from doing the runs and the scales and the different things you want to try to do. So again, we're going to work on very softly, push, until we get that nice sound. When we get that nice sound, that's all the harder you have to press. When we talk about how hard to press too, I want you to think about that as you're playing. What happens a lot of times is people get, they're so into the music, and they're like, whether it's heavy metal or whether it's rock or whether it's, something light, you get really involved in playing. And I don't know about you, I find myself, I'm playing, and all of a sudden I realize, oh my God, how hard am I pushing this string? Why do my fingers hurt? So as you're practicing, I want you to develop that good technique so you don't even have to think about it. I had very poor technique, and I never really had a good teacher to show me what to do. So I've had to undevelop a lot of habits on this. So I want to start you off on the right note, no pun intended, and get you to just put that tiny little pressure needed in order to get a sound. Because that's all we really need. Let's talk about a couple more things with our left hand. First thing is, where on the fret should you put your finger? It doesn't make a ton of difference. I'm going to tell you, at least in the beginning, try to aim towards the top of the fret. Bottom of the fret, top of the fret. Try to aim towards the top of the fret. The only reason being is the closer you get to the bottom of the fret, the more you're going to tend to, let's see if I can get it, you're going to tend to get that noise. You're going to tend to get what's called fret buzz. If you're up here, nice and high on the fret, you're not going to get fret buzz. Now I'm going down, now I'm going down, fret buzz. We don't want fret buzz. If I had like that noise thing, it'd be like, we don't want fret buzz. How was that for a sound effect though? Not bad. So we're going to try to aim towards the top of the fret in all cases, and we can get a nice stretch in there versus the bottom of the fret where we're going to get the, what? Thank you, fret buzz, because I know that's what you were talking about. All right, so now we know how hard to press. We also know where to look on the fret. Let's talk about where we want to put our finger on the strings. What you're going to find with guitar players, I'm going to hold my one finger up here so Pearl can get in nice and close on that finger. Guitar players have to be up on their fingertips. So a lot of people that transition from guitar to bass, they're playing their bass like this. That doesn't work. It's not a 4-string guitar or a 5-string guitar. Besides, much lower evolved species, once they evolve to the bass, you have to make your evolution complete. So you don't want to be up on those fingertips because you'll kill your fingertips on the bass. What you want to do is the pad of the finger between the knuckle and the tip. This is the pad. And what you want to do is that's where you want to have your finger on the string. You want to press down with your pad, not the tip, not the knuckle, not somewhere down here. Very nicely on the pad. And again, we don't have to press down super hard. Also, if we press down too hard, what you're going to find is you're not going to be relaxed. You press down too hard, again, you're going to find your forearm muscle. Wow, why does that arm hurt so much? Probably either because you're not relaxed, you've got a death grip on the bass neck, or because you're pushing down way too hard. None of your fingers should hurt by the time you're done playing bass. Your forearm certainly shouldn't hurt by the time you're done playing. So we've talked about our finger having the pad on the string. We've talked about putting only the minimum amount of pressure to get that good sound. We don't want to push too hard because we're going to slow ourselves down. Just bad technique. We talked about our thumb being nice and relaxed, flat on there. We've talked about where to land on the fret. We want to land towards the top of the fret because if we're at the bottom of the fret, we will get the, oh yeah, there it was, fret buzz. Okay, there's one final thing that is going to be key for you as you get further and further on in your bass evolution. How many fingers do we have on this hand? Not a trick question, this is the thumb. We have 4 fingers. I cannot tell you how many players play with 3 fingers. This little pinky is just chopped off. Oh, but Burl, my pinky's not strong enough. It can't do that. Well, yeah, you're right. I'm also a piano player. I had to spend years and years and years playing piano, developing these last 2 fingers. I don't know, it's your ring finger and your pinky finger. These are naturally, by far, the weakest 2 fingers on your hand. You're gonna need to really work hard on them to develop the strength to be able to use them both in all of your bass playing. When you're playing an octave, you don't want to do, you want to be able to look, I can use my pinky, I can use that, now I can do an octave. I could also do an octave with this finger because they're both strong enough. Let me give you an exercise that's going to be a very easy exercise. It doesn't require really any memorization, anything like that. I want you starting on the 5th fret, so you got the 5th fret through the 8th fret. Excuse me, sorry. I want you to practice, doesn't matter what order, any order, just using all 4 fingers. You don't want to get in the habit of only having these 3 fingers playing. God gave you a pinky for a reason, use it. And it could be in any order. You could go, or you could go up. You can see even I've been playing a number of years, my pinky still isn't that strong and you still hear maybe some fret buzz or some things like that when I play with my pinky. There's a whole nother medical issue for that, but that's neither here nor there. That's what I want you to work on though, is across the strings, starting on the 5th fret, any exercise you want to have where you're using all 4 fingers. And as slow as you need to go, you know, you can even start stretching. If you want, that's totally fine too. As long as you are somehow exercising all 4 fingers equally. These 2 fingers are probably going to be really fast and you're going to be able to do crazy stuff like that. If you try to do that with those 2 fingers, not going to work as well. So really work hard on getting these 2 fingers stronger. If you're a piano player at all, there's a book called Hannon's Exercises. That's the only thing that book is designed to do in the first part, is strengthen these 2 fingers so they're equal to these 2 fingers. I think that's about it now for Burl for this week, because now we've worked on our right hand, our left hand, parts of the bass, how to tune our bass. In our next lesson, we're going to learn how to get around the fretboard. Because what we don't want to do is be one of those people who only knows notes from the 5th fret on down and never uses the rest of the bass. So watch people play sometime. You'll see people that never move. They're just da 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 right here. We want to try to get up here so we know our way around this part of the bass as well as we know around this part of the bass. But that's about all for now. Good evening, good afternoon, goodbye, until next time. Take care.